Hey, you want to get a good cleaning of something? Just
Yes.
turn on a light. And it's Rob Lizz, his morning crew on his radio. The UVC light. This thing is pretty amazing on how a light can clean stuff.
Yeah, but it has to be super, super bright, right? What is it, UVC light?
UVC light.
Yeah. It can actually clean something in about 30 minutes. Somebody is testing this out right now at a food bank in Boston.
Isn't that cool that they're doing that at a food bank?
I think so. I think that's where they need to start. There, so many people are food insecure now that were not food insecure before. So yeah, we got to get this done.
Yeah, all these MIT students got together, the Computer Science of Artificial Intelligence Laboratory. They call it CSAIL for short.
Yeah,
I like that. CSAIL. The Greater Boston Food Bank is where they're doing this. It's a robot, and they turn on the light, the UVC light. You can't be in there, so you've got to vacate the place. But it kills all the germs, the bacteria, the surfaces. Don't even need to spray or wipe anything down. The light takes care of it. There is a pastor can do a message off this thing, you know?
And they also say you don't even need human supervision to even be in there. And it's almost like an iRobot, the vacuum cleaner thing. Like when it bumps into a piece of furniture or whatever, it goes around it. So that's kind of what this thing does. It navigates through whatever area.
So in the new neighborhood we moved into,
yeah,
my neighbor across the street, Tom, is like one of the smartest people on the planet that I've ever met. And he is an engineer, I've learned, and a salesperson, a sales engineer. Isn't that crazy cool?
I've never heard of that. Yeah.
He's working with a guy in Florence who's made one of these type of lights. And if I heard Tom correctly, he said that they're targeting big metropolitans that have subways and transit and stuff like that to go and clean.
That's pretty cool. So are you investing in Tom's idea?
Well, it's not his idea. He's working with a guy.
The other guy, yeah.
And I don't have that kind of money.
Just a couple of bucks. Here, let me add to it.
Will $3 help? Can I make like billions of dollars off this $3? Would that do it for you?
Yeah, that's a cool idea.
His morning crew.
So Florida State University has decided something that's actually made me kind of upset. They announced that in early August 1st, I guess it is, they're not going to allow their employees to work from home if their kids are there. So what they're saying is the kids that live in your home are going to have to be somewhere else for you to work remotely from home. Hello? How does that, to me, just does not make sense. This is my kid's home. Why do I have to send them somewhere else so I can? It just doesn't make sense.
Think so. Yeah. I understand where they're coming from. They want you to be focused. You
exactly.
can't be focused if you've got to focus on your kids at the same time.
Right.
It's all split up. But yet again, where are you going to put the kids?
Because a lot of child care facilities are not open, or they're so hyper limiting the amount of children, which you completely understand, that there's not room for everybody, and not everybody has a sister or grandma or whatever that can take care of the children. So it's really creating a hardship that I personally don't believe needs to be there. And like one of the professors is like, what am I supposed to do with my kids? They have to live here. What am I supposed to do with them? And then so the vice president of human resources said, we felt a responsibility to provide our employees notice of our intention to return to the rules of working from home without those distractions, basically paraphrasing what she said.
Well, we'll see if that works for them, huh?
I know. I mean, if they interrupt, it's just kind of life and kind of what we're dealing with.
Hey, we see that in the news. Some of the newscasters that are at home, kids are interrupting. You just can't help it. But it's okay.
Yeah.
Hey, there's interruptions at work. I mean, come on.
My dog jumped on the roof during one of our Zooms. So, I mean, it's just going to happen and deal.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I'm glad the dog is okay, but it was hilarious when it happened.
It really was. But yeah, she's good.
She's all right.
His morning crew.
Oh, this is so good. I think Liz is going to get into this because it's just in time for the 4th of July holiday. A new flavor in a home kit for ice cream.
Oh,
I think you'll like it. Yeah.
All right.
It's Rob and Liz, his morning crew on his radio. I think you'll like it.
Okay. What are the flavors?
Well, there's mayonnaise, barbecue, salad dressing, and saucy sauce flavors for your Heinz ketchup ice cream. Heinz ketchup ice cream.
Mayonnaise flavored ice cream.
Heinz ketchup ice cream. And it's a do-it-yourself kit off the UK website of Heinz ketchup.
So this isn't even something that I can buy off the shelf, taste a little bit of it and go yes or no. I have to
mix it up. You got to make it yourself. Yeah. You do it just right. Oh, a delicious treat for the 4th of July.
If I took mayonnaise ice cream to the table in front of my kids, that would not go over so well.
Don't tell them.
Oh, okay. That should work out well.
Serve it and see what happens. Just go, hey, ice cream, kids.
Well, guess what? When we get back to the office, I'm going to bring in some ice cream for you all to try.
Oh, okay. Ketchup creams. That's what they call it. Mm-hmm.
That is disgusting. But I watch a lot of the baking shows and that kind of thing, and they're always trying to make new flavors. Like they'll say, "Oh, balsamic vinegar ice cream." No, thank you.
Gross, huh? Just like this Heinz 57 or whatever you call it ice cream, because I think it kind of tastes gross. But you know what? This would be the perfect thing to bring to the next party.
The 4th of July picnic?
Or whatever. Once things start opening up, you're like, okay, now we can have a smorgasbord.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll have this. So you bring your potluck. Hey, I've got the ice cream. And you bring that.
Definitely a conversation starter.
Yeah, you think?
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
Hack for you. Okay, a lot of people like to lose weight, of course.
Yes.
That's where I was 15 years ago. When I was over 350 pounds, I'm like, I've got to do something. And so one of the things I was able to do when I joined the YMCA, the coach that was assigned to me was a runner. I mean, a really good runner, a super fast runner. Christy was amazing. And then Jenny, who was a triathlete, and I got involved in all this stuff. And so one of the myths about losing weight and running is that, hey, if I run all these miles, I can eat anything I want. And no. So the hack is this, and this is coming from Natalie Rizzo, who is a registered dietitian. And she says, running alone doesn't lose the weight. It helps. She says about 80% of it is a healthy diet.
I would think so. I mean, it's kind of common sense, but at the same time, if you think you're working out all the time, you do feel like you can eat whatever. Big piece of cake. Yeah, no.
It doesn't work that way. And here's a couple of things, too, in the hack. If you're doing like 5 or 6 miles, you probably are going to have some sort of simple sugar to refuel. Just a little simple sugar. Watermelon, electrolytes. 3 to 4 miles, another dietitian, Kirkpatrick, says that regular meals and snacks are allowed, just don't go overboard. Don't sit there with all the chips and all the carbs and all that stuff. Just a healthy diet.
So how many calories do you burn? And you should know because you are a runner in like 3 to 4 miles. How many calories is that?
Oh, it can be anywhere between 500 and 600 miles. It really depends on your body makeup and how much that you're exerting. Your heart rate and everything else goes along with that. So if you're going a slow jog, you're not going to burn as much as you are if you're going at a different pace and your heart rate gets elevated too.
And you got to think about it. Okay, so I ran all this way. I'm burning, let's say 400 calories. That's pretty much like a serving or maybe a serving and a half of potato chips.
With active calories, yeah.
Yeah, it's not equaling out, is it?
No, it's not. And you know what? You're right. It's just like, it's common sense. No, I wish there was a magic pill because I would be taking it.
Me too. But your brain tricks you into thinking you can have that, but then you don't lose the weight. So
exactly. And you're wondering what's going on.
Yep.
So that's the most simplest hack around. Even coming from Natalie Rizzo, who is a health dietitian, she just says a healthy diet along with exercise. That's the trick to having that healthy lifestyle.
There you go.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
Congratulations to Bishop Roy Baker. He's the senior pastor of Fruit of the Spirit Ministries in Greensboro, and he's home for a reason now.
Yeah, he is. For 80 days, he was in the hospital. He was fighting the coronavirus. He got to come home earlier this week. And I mean, his congregation, his family, his friends, they showed out. So when the pastor got home, everybody drove by his house, honking the horns, part of the celebration. They even did a live stream of everything.
Isn't that great? He's touched a lot of lives. If his family, his church family in Greensboro says, "We love you so much, we're glad you're home," and they do a parade like that outside of his house, wonder what his neighbors think. All that honking going on.
You know what? I bet they love him just as much as the congregation does. I mean, when you have a good neighbor, you're like, oh, I'm so thankful for this person. But, right back, the pastor said, I love them. I love them. I love them. And I tell people this, never take one day for granted.
He knows. I mean, for 80 days, he had to battle the corona. Oh, my. I'm glad he's on the other side of this.
Mm-hmm.
And man, when Sunday hits and he gets to be with that church family, they are going to have some church. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's going to be something special.
His morning crew.
It's been really interesting watching television, especially when it comes to like late night TV and the talk show hosts and news, because the news reporters and some of these talk show hosts are at their house, right? And so you see some interesting things with some of the news reporters that happens, like a dog or a cat comes onto the screen. You hear the barking in the background. Kids are running into the screen. So here's this funny thing that happened on Sky News in England. Deborah Haynes is like their foreign affairs person, their correspondent and their editor for Sky News. And she's on with the anchor, and they're talking about what she's reporting on, what they're talking about. And then all of a sudden, busting into her room, because she's doing this from her house, is her 5-year-old son. Her 5-year-old son had this sense of urgency. He's just needing his mom's attention. And mom, in the middle of the newscast, had to stop. And the 5-year-old, all he wanted to know.
Yeah.
David Cameron was talking about, I'm really sorry, that's my son arriving.
Really?
Sorry, really embarrassed. Sorry.
So sorry.
Hold on one second.
How can I
Sorry.
have 2 biscuits?
Yes, you can have 2 biscuits.
I thought maybe he was hurt or something.
No, he busted into her room like Kramer on Seinfeld, man. And he wants 3 biscuits, which that's cookies, right? In England?
It is. Yeah, in England, it's cookies. So I guess it was middle of the day or something. And he's just like, Mom, I've been waiting for my afternoon snack.
Gotta have it. Mom, where are my 3 cookies?
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
We're running out of things to watch on television. I see this all the time. What are you binge watching? Share with me your favorite show so I have something to watch. We are getting some live TV back. Do you know what's coming back, Rob?
What?
America's Got Talent.
Oh, how are they going to do this? Because it's all social distance. So they did, American Idol. They did it at home.
They did. So each of the contestants, I guess, were at their own homes.
They were.
This is gonna be
crazy. The judges and everything.
Yeah.
So what are they going to do with America's Got Talent?
It's kind of going to be like a drive-in movie, which I think is kind of cool. So all the judges are going to show up individually. I guess normally they get a limo and they put a couple of the stars in there. This time they're all going to be in separate cars as they arrive. And they're going to be socially distanced while they're sitting at the judges' table. I guess it's going to be a very, very long table or something, but they're going to be socially distanced. And then all the contestants are going to be there, but they're all going to be socially distanced as well. And guess what? It's coming back live in just a little over a month, August 11th.
The show must go on.
That's what they say. It's going to be 44 different people doing their talent, and it's going to be over the course of 4 weeks. And they say that the crew extremely happy to be back to work because they've been furloughed this whole time.
Yeah, no work for a lot of people. So did you say it's at a drive-in, like a drive-in theater?
Yeah, it's sort of like an outdoor movie stage. And so in my mind, when I'm thinking about that, it's almost like a drive-in theater kind of setting is how they're doing it. Drive-ins are going to make such a comeback.
They're making bank now. I mean, a lot of concerts are coming, literally the stage and everything.
Yep.
Is a drive-in theater for a lot of these concerts. So I can see America's Got Talent doing something like that.
It's kind of cool that we are going back to almost like a 50s feel because we're spending more time at home with our family. We're having a meal around the table together,
Mhm.
taking some of those things away that distracted us before and we miss them. But at the same time, the blessing of the things that we're getting.
Riding bikes in the neighborhood,
Yep.
taking family walks, walking the dog. It
Picnics.
does feel like the 50s.
Yeah, I love it.
I like it. I just wish we could go to events again.
Oh, exactly. I want to see a concert.
Mornings with Rob and Liz.
Both our families are dog families. We love our dogs. And I don't know about Liz's dogs, but I have one dog.
Mm-hmm.
And when fireworks goes off, if there's any kind of noise, oh, forget it. It's like she is just scared.
Yeah,
You know?
she just shivers, right? Isn't that what they do? Yeah.
Well, mine, the tail goes between the legs and then she kind of curls up. And then, I mean, it's just like, oh, you poor thing. It
Yeah,
was
and that's,
just a clap.
I know. And it's going to be happening a lot this weekend.
Mhm. So we have a hack for you. If you go to our website, hisradio.com, click on Rob and Liz, you'll see a hack that's like tips to kind of reduce stress for your dog on the 4th of July. So here's a few of them, okay?
Okay.
Make alternate arrangements. So if you can, and if you feel like you can, leave your dog with a friend, a dog sitter, a boarding facility that's probably away from the fireworks that would help. Create a safe spot, like, you know, a crate or a place just to escape where they really feel safe. Tire out your dog, which is not a bad idea, because when we exercise our dog, and she's still young, she's like 3 years old in human years.
Yeah.
What's that? 14, 20 something, right?
21.
So
yeah.
anyway, 21 years old. So
Yeah.
anyway, in doggy years. But if we exercise her, if we take her on a long hike, if I bring her on a run, she's calm for the rest of the day.
Well, of course, she's just like us. She's just exhausted.
Yeah. So exhaust your dog. Music might help a little bit. They're even talking about anxiety jackets and medication that a veterinarian would prescribe, you know?
Right. Don't just give doggy something over the counter.
And the last hack, and this is on our blog at hisradio.com, when you click on Rob and Liz, some tips to reduce the stress for your dogs for the 4th of July. The last hack is to give them, so my wife is a Kong, you know, those little red Kongs
Yes.
that you could put food in the middle. She'll take one of those things, get the wet dog food, freeze it. And then my dog is like, oh, this is so great. So it takes her a while to get in it. A distraction like that while the fireworks are going off in the 4th of July in the neighborhood will help a little bit too.
I've never heard of freezing the food. That is an awesome hack.
My wife figured that out one day, and it works so well because it takes a lot of time to get in there and dig at it, you know?
Yeah, and then she's again exhausted by the end of it. So she's distracted, she's exhausted, and she's happy because she's gotten a treat.
She got her food.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
How's the memory?
Oh, not good.
Really?
But thanks for asking.
Well, anytime. I was thinking, I told you a few things you had no idea I said.
Nope.
Yeah. There are some hacks to actually improve the memory.
Oh, good. Okay, let me write these down so I don't forget.
Yeah, you don't want to forget this. Couple of things that some of the experts, there's this one mentalist. His name is Jason Saran, and he says these things to do.
Okay.
Memory techniques. Get familiar with associating techniques. Practice, believe it or not, writing with your non-dominant hand. So if you're righty, write with your left hand. And
I
it
have
gets your
heard
brain
that.
working hard, because you really have to work hard. I try that from time to time. It looks like kindergarten. I'm telling you.
I was getting ready to try it right here.
Do it. I want to see it. Write
Okay, I
something.
will.
Write a whole word. Write Humpty Dumpty.
Oh,
Let me see how it comes out.
No, I wrote hi.
Whoa.
Hold on.
She need
Well, you tell us the next one. I'll write Humpty Dumpty.
Humpty Dumpty. Take on a Rubik's Cube. I don't know if you've ever tried it. They have some books that'll teach you how to do that, but a Rubik's Cube helps keep the memory really sharp because it gets the brain working. Okay, let's see.
Wait, I'm not done. It
You're
takes
still
longer.
Writing Humpty Dumpty. You should have been done by now. I'm just going to wait.
Okay, it's terrible. Can you see that?
Oh, yeah.
Let me move this
She's
back.
showing me on Zoom, and it's really, really bad. You know what? We're going to post this on His Radio TV. You just have to see it. Upside down is even worse. She's showing me upside down. Okay, 3 more things. One is learn the signs and how to spot if somebody's lying, because there's certain signs.
What
By
are
the way,
signs?
these are hacks on keeping the memory, learning to keep the memory going strong.
Yeah.
Start meditating, and I'm thinking meditate on God's word and pray.
Yeah.
So I'm going to throw that into meditation and
Okay.
pray.
Yeah.
Learn another language, or at least the building blocks of learning another language. And this one I never even thought was a thing, but count cards, like playing cards. Just count them.
Just
I had no
count
idea.
the cards,
Just
or
count them.
okay.
Count 1, 2, 3, 4. What? You got 52 of them, right?
Yeah, you should have.
So just throw them on the ground for 52 card to pick up, and then start counting them as you pick them up.
Do kids still play that? Hey, you want to play a card game? 52 pickup.
Hey, it gets them every single time.
Yeah, it does.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
Do you ever get any critters in your backyard and you just sit there and you watch them for a while to see what they're going to do?
Where we moved to, we
Yeah.
used to have a lot of squirrels in the old neighborhood. We've only seen one squirrel. See a lot of birds where we live. Just a lot of them.
Yeah, and it's so cool to watch. Well, there's a guy in England. He is a photographer, and he's also a dad, and he's been at home a lot, of course, with quarantine and all that. So he has, they have a play set in the backyard, like a lot of families do.
Yeah, he bought
all
it
of a sudden-
secondhand, right?
Yeah, and he bought it, I guess, a couple of years ago, and they've seen a couple of critters, but now that he's home, he's seeing them a lot more. He put up some hidden cameras.
Oh, that's so great. I saw a few of them. I saw a weasel in one of them. A hedgehog.
Hedgehog?
Badgers. Yeah, all of these he's posted. Owls, deers, songbirds, a family of sorts and goats and all this other stuff. All these things that are coming into this guy's backyard.
Yeah, and some of them are getting on the trampoline. That is the video I want to see. Is the hedgehog jumping on the trampoline?
It's like you have no idea what happens when you're sleeping and at night or when you're not looking in the middle of the day.
Right. And things just happen. You know, we had a couple of deer run through the backyard, and I so wanted to get that on video, and I was too late with it. But this guy, hidden cameras, evidently the way to go.
Yeah, he is really a smart man.
His morning crew.
Shutterfly had this, I don't know if you'd call it a contest, but they had a campaign going on. It's called #CreateThanks. And so what they were looking for was artwork from kids to thank all the frontline workers through everything we've been going through. And so they've taken 3 different kids' artwork and they put it on Times Square.
Nice. Oh, that is so good that they're doing that on Times Square.
Yeah, and so they chose Kelly Rose. Her artwork was inspired by her grandma, who's a transit worker in New York City. So that was really cool that hers was chosen. Then Xavier, I think his aunt is a healthcare worker. And then you also had a girl whose mom is a PA, a physician's assistant, and made some artwork for her as well. Do you hear me losing my voice as I'm talking?
Oh, I'm enjoying.
Okay.
Seeing how long she can talk without hacking.
I know. Well, like my eyes are starting to tear up because
It's like torture, isn't it? How
it is a
long
little
can
bit.
I talk without going.
There we go. It was like 45 seconds.
Did you swallow something down the wrong pipe? I mean, what's going on there?
I have no idea, but I do appreciate the fact that you jumped right into the fray to help me.
Oh, yeah.
Not.
Well, here, got your back and all that stuff.
Anyway, getting back to the kids, they were super excited because all their artwork was shown in Times Square.
That's great. It makes her happy.
It does, especially as tears rolling down my face.
You should see her. Wait
beautiful.
till you check out his Radio TV's video replay later on Apple TV and Roku, because she's like almost losing it.
I am. You know what? When you work from home, things can happen
Mm-hmm.
unexpectedly.
Dust get in your throat. I mean,
I have no
were you
idea.
around there?
Well, I started talking and all of a sudden I felt this little tickle and I thought, oh, great. We're at the very beginning of this story.
That's horrible. When you're talking and all of a sudden it's like, it's just back there.
Right. And especially, when this is your job and you get paid to
Mm-hmm.
talk. So anyway, I think I'm good now. If you would like to go to New York City, I would.
She's still talking about it.
Trying to get it.
That was like eons ago. talk about these kids making pictures and they make it to New York City.
I want them to have their day in the sun.
Well, that was so nice. That's so nice. You have a caring heart, and that's why we all love Liz Riles.
Yeah, and a tickle in my throat.